I remember that night vividly. Lila smiled at me, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Nothing can break us," she whispered, eyes shining in the soft lamplight. I laughed, shaking my head. "I believe you, Lila. I really do. We'll make it no matter what." She reached across the table and held my hand. "We will. Our cafe, our life. All of it together." I nodded, feeling the warmth of certainty I hadn't felt in a long time. "I'll work late if I have to. Whatever it takes." She squeezed my hand, smiling. "I know you will. That's why I love you." We sat in silence for a while, just breathing each other in. The quiet hum of the city outside made everything feel eternal. But even in that calm, I felt a twinge of unease, a missed call I ignored. Marcus laughing a little too loudly nearby, Lila's distracted glances at her phone. I pushed the thoughts away. "Hey, are you okay?" she asked suddenly, her voice gentle. I smiled. "Yeah, I'm fine. Just thinking about the cafe plans." She nodded, sipping her tea. "We'll get there, Ethan, I promise." Believed her more than I believed in myself. That's probably why I didn't notice the small cracks. The little things that whispered danger, like unanswered texts, or the way Marcus seemed to linger a little too long in our conversations. "By the way," Lila said, tilting her head, "Marcus wants to help with the cafe design." I raised an eyebrow. "He does?" She shrugged. "He said he has ideas. I thought it might be fun to hear them out." I forced a smile. "Sure, why not? The more help, the better." Her eyes lingered on me with warmth, and I pushed the creeping doubt away. He was just a friend. That's all he ever was. I spent the next few nights working late, sketching menus and layouts, trying to perfect everything. Sometimes I called her to check in, sometimes she didn't pick up. But I told myself it didn't matter. I told myself she was busy, that I was overthinking. One night I came home earlier than expected. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. My keys barely clicked in the lock before I heard her voice, soft, almost a whisper. Marcus, I froze, heart hammering. She was on the phone, her words carrying a weight I didn't understand. I leaned against the doorway, trying to steady my breathing. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe she was talking about some work project. Maybe I was just imagining things, but the name cut through me like ice. Marcus. My gut twisted. I stayed in the shadows, listening, trying to make sense of it, but the words were just beyond my hearing. I wanted to step forward, to demand the truth, but something held me back. I couldn't. Not yet. All I could do was stand there, silent, feeling my chest tighten with a mix of fear and disbelief. The room that had always felt like home suddenly felt foreign, unfamiliar. I whispered to myself, almost as if saying it aloud might ground me. "Nothing can break us." "Right," the silence answered with emptiness. I finally walked away, heart heavy, thoughts spinning. I didn't confront her. I didn't ask questions. I just let the moment hang there, suspended between what I wanted to believe and the first shadow of doubt. I sank onto the couch, staring at the floor, gripping my hands together until they hurt. I believed in her more than I believed in myself. I muttered under my breath. Outside, the city lights blurred through the window. Warm and familiar, but inside everything felt fragile. I didn't know then how fragile it truly was. And that night, the first crack appeared. Asterisk, I shouldn't have gone into her phone. I knew it, but curiosity and the nagging doubt I'd been suppressing finally got the better of me. "Just one look," I whispered to myself. Fumbling with her phone left on the kitchen counter, the screen lit up and my heart sank. A message thread between Lila and Marcus stared back at me. Words I never wanted to see. Words meant to betray. "How long?" I whispered aloud, my voice shaking, barely able to hold the phone steady. I heard movement behind me. Lila stepped into the kitchen, eyes wide. "Ethan, what are you doing?" I turned toward her, trying to keep my voice steady, but it cracked. "Don't play dumb, Lila. Don't tell me." "How long?" She swallowed hard, glancing at the phone, then at me. "It just happened, Ethan. You were too busy chasing a dream that didn't exist." The words hit me like a punch. I staggered back, gripping the counter. You what? You cheated? With him? Marcus appeared in the doorway silently, arms crossed, face unreadable. My gaze shifted to him, rage bubbling inside. You didn't even try to hide it. He didn't say a word. Not a single word. I turned back to Lila, my hands trembling. I trusted you. Everything, and you. With him? Her eyes filled with tears. I didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't mean to hurt me. I laughed bitterly. Do you know how that feels? To wake up one day and realize everything you believed in was a lie. She flinched. Ethan, please, I know. I shouted, voice cracking. I trusted you more than I trusted myself, Lila. And you threw it all away for him? For Marcus? I didn't think. You didn't think. I screamed, the fury I'd buried for weeks erupting. My hands shook and my chest burned with betrayal. I gave you my heart, my everything, and you just threw it away. Lila's sobs filled the room, mingling with my own shaking breaths. Marcus said nothing, just stood there. The cowardly silence cutting deeper than any words. You were supposed to be my forever, I whispered, my voice breaking. My forever. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Don't touch me. Her lips trembled. Ethan, I don't want to hear it. I don't want your excuses. I don't want your apologies. Just go. Leave. Marcus stepped aside quietly, and Lila slumped against the wall, tears streaking her cheeks. I'm sorry, she whispered, but the words didn't reach me. They couldn't. I grabbed my coat and keys, my mind numb. I need air, I muttered. The door slammed behind me as I stepped into the rain. Cold droplets soaked my hair and clothes, but I barely felt it. Nothing mattered anymore. Nothing. I walked the empty streets, head down, repeating the same thought over and over. She was supposed to be my forever. I passed cafes, streetlights, neon signs, all blurred through the rain and my disbelief. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. I wanted to hate, to curse, to break, but I couldn't, not yet. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was Ava, probably checking in, but I ignored it. I couldn't face anyone. I didn't want anyone to see me like this. I sank onto a bench, water dripping from my hair, cold seeping into my bones. I stared at the city reflections on the wet pavement, each light fractured and distorted like the pieces of my heart. Why? I whispered to the rain. Why her? Why him? Why me? No answer came. Only the rain, relentless and indifferent. I wanted to understand, to confront, to demand justice. But for now, all I could do was stand there, drenched, shattered, repeating it like a mantra. She was supposed to be my forever. Somewhere in the distance. Laughter echoed from a cafe, life moving on, indifferent to the betrayal that had just destroyed mine. I didn't move. I didn't cry. I didn't even breathe properly. I just stood numb, letting the storm soak me, letting the reality sink in, and somewhere deep inside, a small, dark ember of something began to burn. Not love. Not hope, but rage. The betrayal had come, and I had no choice but to face it. I woke up late again, the sunlight burning through the blinds. My stomach growled, but I didn't move. Another day of nothing. Instant noodles, black coffee, the same old silence. My phone buzzed up, but I ignored it. Ethan, you're alive, right? Her voice rang softly in the voicemail. I pressed delete. I didn't have the energy to explain. To anyone, the apartment felt heavy. Every corner reminded me of Lila, of Marcus, of betrayal. I sank onto the couch, staring at the floor. Pain doesn't scream. It whispers that you deserved it. A knock at the door startled me. Ethan. Ava's voice called again. I hesitated, then muttered, "Come in." She stepped inside quietly, carrying a small bag. "I brought lunch," she said, placing it on the table. "I didn't know if you were eating," I shrugged, not trusting my voice. Thanks. She sat across from me, not pushing, not asking questions. I know you don't want to talk, and that's okay. I just want you to know someone cares. Her presence was gentle, grounding. I wanted to tell her to leave, to go away, but her eyes, they didn't judge. She just waited. My phone rang again. Evelyn, my mother. I hadn't spoken to her in years. Hello? I said, voice hollow. Ethan, it's me. Her tone was tentative, almost afraid. I laughed bitterly. Mom, after all this time, I heard about what happened, she said quietly. Are you okay? Okay? You think I can be okay? My girlfriend betrayed me. My life is a joke. And you're calling now? I know I've been gone. I know I wasn't there. But you weren't there, ever. Just like always. Silence fell. Her breathing was the only sound. I realized I hated that I still felt that old ache of longing, even now. Maybe betrayal feels familiar because I've known it all my life. I can't do this, I muttered, and hung up. Ava reached over, touching my arm lightly. It's okay to be angry, Ethan, to feel lost, but don't stay here forever. I looked at her, eyes tired. I don't know how to move on. Start with small steps, she said. Come to work tomorrow, even if it's just for an hour, just to leave the apartment. I hesitated. The idea felt impossible, but her voice. Patient, kind, real. Maybe, I said finally. She smiled, not pushy, just hopeful. That's all I ask. The day passed slowly. I didn't speak much. I didn't eat much. I didn't think much except about what I had lost, about the life I had imagined with Leela, and the emptiness that now filled its place. By evening, I found myself staring at the cafe sketches I had left on the table weeks ago. I traced the lines with my finger, remembering plans, dreams, and promises. The hurt was sharp, but a small flicker of resolve ignited. I can't let this ruin me, I whispered to myself. I can't let her betrayal define me. Ava knocked softly again before leaving. Tomorrow, she said. I'll see you tomorrow. I nodded, more to myself than to her. I didn't feel ready, but maybe, just maybe, I could start again. The apartment was quiet again. The weight of betrayal pressed on me, heavy and relentless. But I was still standing. Barely, but I was. I stared out the window at the city lights, flickering against the darkness. The world moved on, uncaring, unforgiving. But I had to move too. I made a promise to myself. Small steps, one at a time. I would return to work. I would face the world, and maybe eventually, I could breathe again without thinking of the emptiness Lila had left behind. Tomorrow, I whispered again, holding on to the word as a lifeline. Just tomorrow. And for the first time in days, it felt like a possibility. Asterisk, I didn't sleep well that night. My thoughts circled endlessly. Lila, Marcus, the cafe, everything I had built in my mind shattered. I knew something had to change. The next morning, I walked into work dragging my feet. Ava greeted me softly. Hey, glad you made it. I forced a small smile. Yeah, thought I should. She didn't push. She just nodded, giving me space. I wandered into the back room, staring at the empty shelves we had planned to fill together. Plans Leela and Marcus had stolen haunted me. Jason appeared, leaning against the doorframe. I heard what happened, he said quietly. I don't know what to say. Say nothing, I muttered. It doesn't matter. What matters is they stole everything.
My dream.
My trust, everything. Eh? Jason frowned. You mean the cafe idea? Yes. My blood, sweat, and ideas. They took it and ran. He rubbed his forehead. That's messed up. But Ethan, you can't let them win. You have to fight back. Not with hate, but smart, strategic. I clenched my fists. I want revenge. I want them to feel the emptiness they left in me. Jason shook his head. That's not revenge. That's destruction. You need something better. Control. Power. Let life show them what they lost. I stared at him. Control. Power. Yeah, maybe you're right, but I can't just sit here and do nothing. Ava approached, carrying a tray of coffee. Ethan, I know you're hurt, and you're angry, but maybe channel that energy into something positive. Build your cafe stronger. Show them that betrayal doesn't break you. Her words hit harder than I expected. You mean rise above it? I asked. She nodded. Exactly. Use this pain. Don't waste it on hating them. Let your life become the answer. I sat down, the weight of everything pressing on me. I can't forgive them. Not yet. But I can't let them define me either. Jason leaned closer. You've got the vision, the skill, and now, the motivation. Don't waste it. Make them regret underestimating you. Swallowed my chest tight. I've been soft, too trusting, too blind. Maybe it's time to focus, really focus, and make them see who I am. Ava set the coffee down. You'll do it, Ethan. I know you will. But carefully. Don't lose yourself in anger. Be smarter. Be patient. Let them fall by their own weight. I nodded slowly, a dark ember lighting inside me. Patience. Control. Yes, I'll do this my way. Slowly. Quietly. They won't see it coming. Good. That's the Ethan I know. Don't forget why you started your dream, your passion. That's your power. I stood, finally feeling a flicker of determination. They thought they could break me, betray me, but they underestimated me. Big mistake. Ava smiled softly. That's the first step. The rest will follow. I took a deep breath, feeling the storm inside me settle into a sharp, focused edge. Revenge didn't have to mean destruction. It could mean rebuilding, rising, thriving, making my life the proof of what they lost. I'll take it all back, I whispered. The cafe, my life, my future, everything. Jason clapped me on the shoulder. Then get to work, man. Make them regret the day they ever crossed you. Ava lingered a moment, giving me a look filled with quiet encouragement. We'll help you, Ethan. You're not alone in this. I nodded, heart pounding, mind sharpening. I'll do it. And when it's over, they'll see. They'll all see. The spark had ignited. Betrayal had lit a fire in me that would not die. Not for revenge in its blind form, but for reclaiming everything I had lost and proving that no one could break me again. The next morning I woke earlier than usual. The apartment felt lighter somehow, as if the weight of betrayal had settled into a spark instead of a stone. I poured coffee, staring at the sketches I had left behind weeks ago. Each line reminded me of what I could still create. Ava peeked in. Morning, you look. Alive. I forced a small smile. Better than dead. She laughed softly. That's a start. Did you sleep at all? Enough, I muttered. I have work to do. Jason appeared in the doorway again, holding a notebook. Plans, ideas, strategies. Thought you might want these? I took the notebook, flipping through pages filled with designs, budgets, and sketches. Thanks, I said quietly. I need to rebuild. Everything, he nodded. And you will, step by step. I sank into a chair, sipping my coffee. Step by step, I repeated. The words felt like a promise, not just to them, but to myself. Ava sat across from me. I'll help. I know it's hard to start after everything, but I believe you can do this. I can't fail again, I said. I won't let them win. But it feels like everything is against me. Jason leaned forward. That's why you fight smarter, not harder. Use the tools you have. Your ideas, your vision, your pain. Let it shape you. I nodded, feeling the anger and hurt transform into something sharper determination. I'll work every day. I'll make sure this cafe succeeds, and they see the life they destroyed wasn't stronger than mine. Ava smiled. You're not alone, Ethan. We've got your back." I looked at them and for the first time in weeks felt a flicker of hope. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could rise from the ashes of betrayal and rebuild more than I had imagined. The hours passed quickly. I worked on designs, menus, color schemes, imagining the cafe not as it was stolen from me, but as something better, my vision pure and untarnished. Ava brought snacks and coffee, quietly keeping me grounded. Jason offered advice, corrections, and encouragement. At one point, Ava nudged me gently. "You've been at this for hours. Don't forget to eat," I chuckled. "I'll eat when it's perfect," "No," she said firmly. "You'll eat now, because perfection comes from a strong mind, not an empty stomach." I sighed, letting her hand guide a cup of soup to me. "Thanks, Ava. Seriously. Don't know if I could do this alone." "You're not alone," she said simply. "You won't be." By evening, I stepped back and looked at my progress. The sketches, notes, and plans were slowly forming something real. Something mine. I felt a pulse of pride, tinged with a quiet rage that made me sharper, stronger. Jason clapped me on the back. "See? This is the Ethan I know. Betrayal can't hold you down forever." "It won't. Not anymore." Ava smiled at me. "You'll rise, Ethan, and when you do, they'll see what they lost." I nodded, letting the thought sink in. I had been broken, yes. But now I was being reforged. Every late night, every sketch, every decision was a step toward reclaiming my life. I whispered to myself, if love broke me, ambition will rebuild me. The words were a mantra, a promise, a warning. I would rebuild not just the cafe, but myself. Every betrayal, every lie, every sleepless night would fuel me. Outside, the rain had stopped, and the city lights reflected on wet streets. I felt alive again, not because the pain had gone, but because I was using it, turning it into something sharper, something unstoppable. And I swore silently that when the day came, Leela and Marcus would see me succeed. Not out of revenge, but as proof that I could survive, thrive, and rise from ashes they thought would bury me. Weeks passed. I poured every ounce of energy into the cafe. Designs, layouts, supplier calls, hiring staff. I lived in a whirlwind of action. Ava stayed close, guiding and cheering silently. Each completed task was a small victory, stitch mending the tear Leela and Marcus had left in my life. One afternoon I got a call from Marcus. "Ethan, hey, can we talk?" I smirked, shaking my head. "You're a little late, don't you think?" He paused. I heard about the cafe reopening. Looks amazing." "I didn't expect you didn't expect?" I interrupted, voice cold. "You didn't expect me to survive your betrayal? Or to rise stronger?" I just look. Leela and we messed up. I'm sorry." I laughed, harsh and bitter. "Sorry? Do you think sorry undoes what you did? Do you think it fixes years of lies, betrayal, and stolen trust? I know I hurt you. I know I save it." My hands clenched into fists. "I'm not here to forgive you. I'm here to show you that I'm still standing. I'm still creating. I'm still winning. And you're standing on the sidelines realizing too late what you destroyed." He was silent. The words I didn't say hung between us, sharp as knives. I hung up, heart racing. Blood boiling not with hate, but with a quiet satisfaction. Karma was unfolding on its own. That evening, Ava checked in. "How's it going?" "I talked to Marcus," I admitted. "He tried to apologize." "Pitiful," Ava smiled faintly. "It's not about them seeing it now. It's about you knowing you've built something real." I nodded, feeling the truth in her words. I don't need them to admire it. Just knowing I didn't let them break me, that's enough. Days later, news reached me that Lila and Marcus were arguing publicly. Rumors of their breakup spread quickly. I didn't feel joy. Not exactly. Just relief. Their downfall wasn't mine to orchestrate. It was the natural result of their choices. Still, part of me whispered they should have known better. They should have respected what we had. Ava nudged me gently. "You're thinking about them again." "I can't help it," I admitted. some part of me, wants them to feel the weight of what they lost. And they will, she said quietly, but not because of you. They'll see it themselves. That's the kind of justice that lasts. Her words sank in. I realized I didn't need revenge. I didn't need to hurt them back. I just needed to live, to thrive, to reclaim everything they tried to steal. The cafe opened officially the next week. The line wrapped around the block, people eager to taste the place I had poured my soul into. Jason came by grinning. Look at you. You didn't just survive. You built an empire out of ashes? I laughed, the sound light, freeing. An empire. Maybe not. But it's mine. Every piece, every corner, every detail. Eva watched quietly, smiling. You earned this, Ethan. You earned yourself back. I leaned against the counter, eyes scanning the bustling cafe. Patrons chatting, coffee brewing, laughter echoing. My heart swelled with a satisfaction deeper than revenge, stronger than anger. I whispered under my breath, almost to myself, they thought they broke me. But they only made me stronger. The sun set outside, golden light spilling into the cafe. I felt a calm resolve settling in me. Life would always throw betrayal, loss, and pain my way. But I learned to rise, to rebuild, to transform, and somewhere far away, Lila and Marcus were realizing that no apology, no excuse, could undo the consequences of their choices. Karma had a quiet way of teaching lessons. I smiled, not in triumph over them, but over myself. I had reclaimed my life, my dreams, and my future. Jason leaned over. Ready for the next challenge? I laughed, finally free of the weight I'd carried for so long. Bring it on. I've learned how to rise from anything. Eva placed her hand gently on my shoulder. And you'll keep rising, no matter what comes next. I looked around at the cafe, the culmination of pain, sweat, and determination. Every cup, every table, every light was proof. I survived. I endured. And I emerged stronger. No one could take that from me. Not Leela, not Marcus, not anyone. And in that moment, standing in the heart of my creation, I whispered to myself once more, I am unstoppable. The cafe had been running smoothly for weeks now. The bustle of customers, the hum of coffee machines, and laughter bouncing off the walls felt like a heartbeat returning to my life. I hadn't realized how empty silence had been until now. Ava poured me a cup of coffee. You're glowing, she said softly. I laughed, shaking my head. I feel normal again, or maybe better than normal. Alive, at least. Ouch, she smiled. It took a lot to get here. You earned it. I looked around the cafe, tracing my eyes over the tables we'd decorated, the small touches I had added. Every corner was a part of me, a reflection of my journey. I can't believe I made it here. After everything, I actually did it. Jason came in, carrying a small box. Delivery for the boss, he said with a grin. I raised an eyebrow. Boss? Already calling me that? He laughed. Just kidding. But seriously, Ethan, this place, it's amazing. You turned pain into something real, something beautiful. I sighed, smiling faintly. I guess. It's more than just a cafe now. It's proof. Proof that betrayal doesn't have to define you. That loss doesn't have to break you. Ava reached out, touching my hand. And it won't. You've come so far. I nodded, the memory of Lila and Marcus still flickering at the edges of my mind. I had forgiven them not for their sake, but for mine. Carrying their betrayal would have weighed me down forever. Now it was just a lesson. A scar that reminded me I could endure. The door opened, and an unfamiliar woman stepped in. Hi, is this the new cafe? I've heard wonderful things. I smiled warmly. Welcome. I hope you enjoy it. As she took a seat, I realized something. I was finally ready to move forward. Life had given me a second chance, and I wasn't going to waste it. Later, Ava leaned on the counter. You know, you should take a moment for yourself. Step back, breathe. I nodded. Yeah. I've been so focused on rebuilding, I forgot to live a little. Jason smirked. Go ahead. Take a day off. You've earned it. I laughed. A day off. Sounds strange, but tempting. Vea grinned. It's more than tempting, it's necessary. You've rebuilt your life, Ethan. Now enjoy it. I leaned back, sipping my coffee slowly. The warmth spread through me, settling into a calm I hadn't felt in months. For the first time, I felt at peace. Do you ever think about them? Ava asked softly. I paused, considering. Sometimes, but not with anger. Not anymore, I think. I think I'm glad I walked away. Glad I fought for myself instead of wasting time on them. They taught me a lesson I needed, even if it hurt like hell. She nodded. Exactly. And now it's your time. The afternoon passed in quiet contentment. Customers came and went. Laughter filled the air. And I felt a part of the world again, not broken, not betrayed, but alive and thriving. Jason nudged me. You ready for the next chapter, boss? I smiled, a real, unburdened smile. Yeah, I think I am. The past is behind me. The cafe is mine, and my life. Well, it's just beginning. Ava looked at me, her eyes bright. I'm proud of you, Ethan. You didn't just survive, you transformed. And that's something no one can ever take away. I nodded, feeling the truth in her words. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt had led me here. To strength, to purpose, to freedom. The sun dipped below the horizon, golden light spilling through the windows. I watched it, feeling a deep gratitude for the journey, for the lessons, and for the people who had stayed by my side. I whispered to myself, softly, a promise and a declaration. This is my life. My choices, my dreams, my happiness, and no one can ever steal that from me again. For the first time in months, I felt complete. Not because betrayal had ended, not because the past was erased, but because I had reclaimed myself, and as the lights of the cafe glowed warmly around me, I knew this was just the beginning. The sunlight streamed through the cafe windows, golden and warm. I stood behind the counter watching people laugh, talk, and sip coffee. For the first time in months, I didn't feel the weight of betrayal pressing on my chest. Ava appeared beside me, carrying a tray of fresh pastries. Busy day, she said softly, setting it down. I smiled, feeling a lightness I hadn't known for years. Yeah, but it feels good. I'm finally in control. She looked at me, her eyes gentle. You've earned this, Ethan. Everything you wanted built by your own hands. I chuckled. I never thought I'd see this day. After everything, I actually made it. Jason walked in, holding a stack of invoices. Morning, boss. Or should I say, our fearless leader. I laughed, shaking my head. Let's just say I've learned how to survive and thrive, he smirked. Looks like you did more than survive. You've created something lasting. I leaned on the counter, sipping my coffee, thinking about the journey, the lies, the pain, the sleepless nights. I survived betrayal. I built from pain. I live freely. I am finally whole, I whispered to myself. Ava smiled at me. That's the Ethan I always knew existed, just waiting to break free. I couldn't have done it alone, I admitted, glancing between her and Jason. You both stayed when others walked away. You reminded me I was stronger than I thought. Jason shrugged. We just knew you needed a little push. You did the rest. I shook my head. It wasn't just the push. It was everything, the lessons, the pain. It made me realize I don't need anyone to validate me. I can rebuild my life myself. Ava touched my shoulder gently. You didn't just rebuild. You transformed. And now, you can live freely without looking back. I nodded, letting her words sink in. The cafe hummed with life around me, a testament to every sleepless night, every moment of doubt, every tear shed alone. This was mine, all mine, and I had earned it. A customer approached, smiling. This is the best coffee I've had in years. You can tell it's made with love. I smiled warmly. Thank you. That means a lot. As they walked away, I looked out the window at the city. It no longer felt hostile, no longer threatening. I had been betrayed, yes, but I had turned that betrayal into strength, resilience, and freedom. Jason leaned against the counter. So what now? More expansion plans? Or finally taking a break? I laughed. Maybe a little of both. I think I deserve it. I've earned the right to live my life my way, Eva grinned. And we'll be right here with you, watching, supporting, and cheering every step. I felt a warmth in my chest. Support, loyalty, and trust, things I had doubted existed after betrayal, now filled my life in ways I couldn't have imagined. Turned back to the cafe, seeing every detail, every table, every light as proof of my transformation. This is more than just a cafe, I whispered. It's a symbol of growth, resilience, and freedom. Ava raised an eyebrow. You're poetic today, I laughed. Maybe, or maybe I'm just finally honest with myself. Jason smiled. Whatever it is, it works. You've come a long way. I nodded, taking a deep breath. I'm done looking back. The past taught me what I needed to know. But the future is mine to create. Eva put a hand on my shoulder. And it'll be beautiful, Ethan, because you've earned every moment. I looked around the cafe, at the laughter, the conversations, the simple joy of life unfolding. For the first time, I felt fully free, fully alive, fully myself. I survived, I said softly, almost to myself. I rebuilt. I thrived. And now, I live freely, truly, completely. The city outside glowed in the fading sunlight, and I knew, deep in my heart, that no betrayal, no loss, no darkness could ever take this from me again. I had risen, transformed, and embraced life with open arms. And in that moment, standing in the heart of my creation, I smiled, whispering one final truth. This is just the beginning.